Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm super happy to be speaking with Larry Sager of ESQ. The band has just released a fantastic new track. It is called Can't Be Satisfied, and I'm super excited to talk to him all about it. Larry, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you. Doing great.
Nice, I'm happy to hear it. Where in the world are you at the moment?
Well, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, nice. I'm actually headed up there next weekend.
Uh, Good.
Nice. Have you been there for a while?
I've been here for over 30 years.
I think that constitutes as a
Originally from Detroit.
oh, nice. That's where my mom's from. I go out there a lot. I have a lot of family over there.
Everyone's from Detroit.
Yeah, that is true. A lot of Michigan people over there. That's awesome, man. Well, like I said before we started recording, you've got this new song out, and it's truly fantastic. I feel that it pulls on so many different styles and genres, and it does a really great job of infusing so many like classic elements to it, all the while bringing it up to like the modern age. So I'm definitely going to be blowing up your ego as we continue to talk. The first thing I
All
really
right.
first thing I really want to know about is like what is this song about and what inspired it?
Well, the song's basically, I guess you'd say it's a love song. It's a couple, and they've obviously had a tiff or a blowout or something, and the guy goes out looking for his lady and to see if he can track her down and make up.
Nice. Based on true story or you just make this up?
Well, this isn't actually based on its actual story. Just
That's maybe
somehow,
a good thing.
a lot of tunes are, a lot of tunes aren't. Some are compilations. Some have multiple meanings. For some reason, this wasn't necessarily about somebody. Although I don't know if I admitted if it was, but it's actually not.
That's okay. You can keep it to yourself, and we don't need to know the truth. Totally kidding. That's awesome though. Like I said, the song itself pulls on so many different styles. I want to know like how are you describing this to people when they say or when they ask about your new music?
Well, we've got a bit of a range of tunes that are coming out. It's you know basically I think commercial rock, commercial mainstream rock, I guess.
Okay.
Different people tell me different bands things remind them of, and some of them are people I've never really listened to, and some I've
Okay.
listened to more than others. Usually it's something outside the realm. I'm like, really?
Such
The
as
other day we're working. Um, well, the other day someone said this is a new tune that we're working on. And he said, "Oh, it sounds something like Steely Dan." It's
interesting.
like said, "Well, Steely Dan, they're really good musicians, actually. Those guys."
They've
Thank
actually
you
got
very
a,
much. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Well, honestly, in today's day and age, I think that's a huge compliment. They're having like this online internet renaissance that people are now discovering them and getting really into their music. So I hope that when people listen to that song that they think the same.
No, I think they write very interesting and intricate music, actually. So my music just ends up being whatever it is. It just kind of takes on its own direction and just trying to resolve the issues that are created when you put something down to start with.
Sure, sure. Is it safe to assume that ESQ is not just you?
Yes, it's a few other folks, plus a couple people who we call upon once in a while. Generally, myself, bass player, drummer, and a singer. We've got a couple different guitar players who put in parts, a couple different keyboard players.
Nice.
Um, Sylvia Massy, who's doing our mixing, she's been throwing in some vocals,
Okay.
and so we've got I don't know, about almost a dozen people who end up putting a track here or there.
Oh, that's a lot of people. Are you all based out of the Bay Area?
No, actually, uh, there's a buddy of mine in Detroit who just did some tracks on another tune.
Okay.
The drummer's spending a lot of time in Utah. The bass player's in New Mexico half the time.
Oh, wow.
My main vocalist is in San Francisco, and then Sylvia's up in Oregon.
Nice. Okay, so a little global project then, essentially.
Yeah, actually another buddy of mine who has a track on Can't Be Satisfied. He did the guitar track in Texas.
That's awesome. So then how does I suppose the process work? Like, is there someone that takes the lead? Are you guys sending demos back to each other? Like, how does it look like behind the scenes?
Well, we work with a program called Pro Tools in the studio. And for me personally, I do some recording at home, but it's just to work parts out.
Okay.
It's nothing professional or something that can be released. But my other pals, they're more into engineering and things, and they've got like Pro Tools in their house, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, send it over, and they send the tracks back,
Sure.
or they'll go in a local studio and do it from there, and then send us the tracks. But with our computerized age here, it's quite easy and convenient. You can send a tune to somebody, they can put some tracks on, they just send it back.
No, I fully agree. That's kind of the best part of not needing to be like down the street from each other and constantly meeting up. It's like you can sort of turn on the creativity whenever you'd like, and they'll get around to it whenever they have a moment. And I feel like it kind of sparks more creativity because it's not as maybe not as intense as like, okay, we're all in a room, let's make music. It just kind of happens when it happens.
Yeah, it gives you a little flexibility, and it's like you say, you schedule your studio session from 10:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Right.
and hopefully you're feeling good that day and everything's sounding like it usually does. And
Exactly.
and it's a little nerve-wracking, really, because you've got this time to do it, and you've got other things to get to, and you need to get it right there. So
Totally.
if you've got more flexibility, you sit down for an hour, you do something, you leave, you come back the next day, you're up in the middle of the night, you turn the Pro Tools on and see what
Right.
comes up.
That's really nice. How long have you all been making music together at this point?
Well, we've all been together. It's been about 2.5 years since we began this recording project,
Nice. All
actually.
right. What sparked it? Pandemic, just kind of like, hey, we're not doing anything.
Well, it was actually right before the pandemic, and I decided, well, I thought, I've got a couple of tunes that aren't so bad. I should do something so that I can send them out to people,
Yeah.
because they're off there. There's some stuff that's on like old, quote unquote, old 24 track
Sure.
analog recordings and all. And I've got stuff on tape, and it's like, what, I mean, it's easy to send tunes to people these days,
Right.
but not in the format that I had it.
Exactly.
So my only intention was to, what you do is you cook the tapes, these 24 track tapes.
Sure.
You cook them, so to speak, for like a week in literally some type of an oven that they've got, so that when you play the tape, it doesn't fall apart.
That's wild. I've never heard of that happening before.
Right. So I had these guys cook up my 24 track tape, and we put it onto digital.
Okay.
And I threw a couple extra tracks on, and
Sure.
we EQ'd it. And we did that, and I thought, well, I got these couple other tunes. Maybe I should go in the studio and just record them. And
Nice.
one thing led to another, and now we've got we've got about 20 tunes that are finished, and we've got another
Gee.
6 in the can. And we're doing videos, and we're releasing them one at a time right now.
That's amazing. So do you have like the full plan of like one a month? Is it going to be put on an album, or is it just going to be singles based only?
Well, we've got a couple, hate to sound dated, but we got a couple CDs we put together.
Hey,
It,
CDs are getting popular again too.
yeah,
Seriously.
someone offered the precedent to vinyl. I was like, nah, I don't think so.
That's okay.
But yeah, those things are coming back a little bit. But it's more for something that you can physically hand to somebody and just
Sure,
kind
sure.
of look at. We've got some artwork that we did up. So we've got 4 tunes on 2 different CDs, and but it's mainly YouTube and Spotify
Yeah.
and digitally getting it out there.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the way to go nowadays for reaching the biggest audience. Personally, like I'm a physical media person. If you're playing shows and there's a merch stand, like I'm buying a CD or a vinyl or whatever it is. Kind of the best way to support. So yeah, maybe in the future you can kind of, expand that horizon once more music is released.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now we've got 3 videos that we're working on right
Wow.
at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So I guess over the past 2.5 years or so, have you all had an opportunity to play in a live setting?
We did one gig a couple months back in San Francisco,
Nice.
and actually had an invitation to go to Australia.
No
Uh,
way. That's awesome.
yeah, we didn't take them up on that, but maybe in the near future.
Cool.
I've got some plans to play in Los Angeles area, and we're going to look at the Bay Area up here too.
Nice.
But I'm going to try to finish up these videos and the last few recording sessions here, and then concentrate on getting out actually.
Very cool. Are there a handful of songs that you're most excited to play that haven't been played yet?
Yeah, there's a bunch actually. I think for me, my most favorite material is stuff we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Well, hopefully, that day comes soon. I can only imagine it'd be a little bit difficult to gather 12 people for one show, but maybe like the more local people could get together and make it work. I don't know. Like, what's the
Well,
live setup looking like?
for live setting, we're looking at 2 guitars, bass drums, and a singer,
Okay.
extra backup singer or two.
That's
So
reasonable.
we'd be 6 people on stage.
Okay, way more reasonable. I like that. Well, okay, so we are like wrapping up September at this point, and the end of the year is coming near. You've mentioned a few things that are in the works, but like, what are the goals for the rest of this year, I suppose?
Well, we want to get 3 more songs out, and I think we'll probably do that
Wow,
before the end of the year.
nice.
Uh, I've got my kitty over here chewing
I see
things
the
up.
I see the tail wagging, and I was like,
Oh,
what is that?
okay.
That's okay.
Uh, he's got a big tail.
All
He's
good.
17 pounds. He's a year old.
Wow.
So we're working on a tune called "Moving" that's coming out next, and then we've got another song called "Runaway" that we're going to
Okay.
release after that, and then one called "Turn to Rock and Roll," which is actually kind of an homage to our worldwide fan base.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's just such an interesting thing nowadays. It's like you never really know where you're gonna pick up listeners. And then once you do, it can kind of spread like wildfire. And you're like, how did we get a fan base in Australia? And we're all the way over here when it should be local.
Yeah, well, our if you look at the YouTube numbers, our biggest fan base is in South America, actually, in
Really, I'm
Argentina.
actually in South America right now. So I'll spread the word.
Oh, you're in South America?
Yeah, I'm in Ecuador right now.
Oh, okay. We've got some good plays in Ecuador, but I mean all over Brazil. Um, I mentioned Argentina,
Yeah,
Uruguay,
sure, sure.
Colombia, uh, and then all the way down into El Salvador, and then we've got a big fan base in Indonesia and in Asia. It's really crazy. In Turkey,
So
uh,
but I was gonna say,
our
yeah, the people in South America go crazy for rock music more than I feel like a lot of other countries for some reason. They just eat it up. It's amazing.
yeah. Well, it was news to me because I'm not up to date exactly on who's listening to what where,
For sure.
and we had a million listeners in Argentina on this
Wow.
one tune, and I thought, I don't know if it's some guy in a car somewhere hitting play or what's going on,
Who
but
knows?
I talked to some friends and they're like, "Oh yeah, you go to Argentina and there's big billboards for rock music and
Oh yeah.
festivals going on, and they know some good music over there."
Yeah, they really do. I've actually coincidentally been introduced to a lot of Argentinian bands since I've been down here. Some really interesting rock music. Like honestly, I don't speak Spanish that well, so I don't know what they're saying, but the instrumentation is fantastic. So yeah, they've definitely got good taste.
Yeah, so we'd like to go there because, like I say, I mean that's Buenos Aires. That's like top three cities.
Totally. That's amazing. Well, I have two more questions for you at this point. Second to last question is basically, is there anything about this song that I may not have asked about that you'd want people to know?
Well, um, I'm not sure exactly what that would be, but the song for me, the songwriting approach for this, it was based around the main lick of the song, and it kind of repeats throughout, and it's what I'd characterize as kind of a hard rock
Sure.
kind of lick, but with all the overdubs and the vocals going on, it kind of maybe mellows it out into more of a
Okay.
pop or commercial rock tune.
I suppose so. I don't know. Like I said, I get a really classic vibe from this song. I hear what you're saying along the lines of commercial rock, but when I think commercial rock, for some reason I think like stale. And this is not stale. Like it doesn't sound like no, truly like because when I turn on the radio, which is a rare thing, every song kind of sounds the same. They're all using the same formula. This kind of breaks that mold. I think that you've got, I don't quite know how to classify, maybe like an alternative rock, but yeah, I don't know. It's just got something special about it that I really enjoy.
Oh, I appreciate. Well, commercial is, I don't mean stale certainly, but uh, well, I'm always trying to do something a little different too. So I try to put something in that's a little different,
Yeah,
and it's going to be something that maybe something hasn't heard exactly,
totally.
uh,
That's what it's
something
all
else.
about. No, that's a great point. And my last thing for you is basically in a similar realm for the person that is going to discover you from this conversation. What is an opening message you'd like to say to them before they listen to your guys' music for the first time?
Well, if you'd like to hear some, good upbeat music, check it out. And this song actually is one that doesn't have an actual guitar solo. Some of our other ones maybe have a little too much guitar soloing going on, but I think we've got some great musicianship. It's fresh music. It sounds good. As I mentioned, Sylvia is mixing for us, and she's a Grammy winner with her album with Tool, and she's worked with Tom Petty and uh, Flea's group, and was working with Prince, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Sorry, blanked out.
Okay.
And she worked with the Black Crows, so she's coming from that background,
Yeah.
and and I like to think that this music would appeal to people listening to that as well.
You've got me convinced. That's quite the resume there on her end. Well, Larry, I want to thank you so much for taking the time, but please let me plug your music for you once again before we wrap up here. So, if everyone missed it the first time around, the song is called Can't Be Satisfied. The band is called ESQ. And of course, like always, we'll have the links in our article so that you can listen and share and follow along and obviously stay tuned. I'm excited to hear these songs that are coming out towards the end of this year, but I'm also excited to see the videos. And yeah, truly, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been great.
Well, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to speak soon.
Thank you, most appreciated.
All right,
Rock
take
and roll.
care. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.